securing great profit sustainability benefits like
Amid rising geopolitical tensions in Eastern Europe, the United States has moved decisively by deploying several of its most advanced main battle tanks, the M1A2 Abrams, to NATO countries along the alliance's eastern flank. This bold maneuver forms part of a broader effort by Washington to reassure its European allies and send a clear, unmistakable signal to potential adversaries, particularly Russia. The deployment falls under the ongoing framework of Operation Atlantic Resolve, a military initiative launched in response to annexation of Crimea and aimed at reinforcing NATO's collective defense. In light of recent security developments and increasingly aggressive military posturing near NATO borders, this deployment represents not only a strategic recalibration, but also a demonstration of resolve in defense of European security architecture. The M1A2 Abrams is not just a symbol of American military might, it is a formidable weapon system built for modern battlefield dominance. Weighing over 60 tons and equipped with a 120mm smoothbore cannon, advanced targeting systems, reactive and composite armor, and sophisticated battlefield management technologies, the M1A2 is designed for survivability, accuracy, and overwhelming firepower. Its arrival in Eastern Europe marks a significant upgrade in NATO's forward combat capability. In any potential high-intensity conflict scenario, these tanks can deliver decisive blows against enemy armored forces and serve as a powerful deterrent against further escalation. Their integration into multinational battle groups across NATO's eastern frontier is expected to dramatically enhance joint operational effectiveness. The tanks were transported via key logistical hubs in Western Europe, with initial arrivals in German ports followed by overland convoys moving eastward into Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. These countries, situated at the doorstep of Russia's western military district, are considered some of the most vulnerable within the NATO alliance. In recent days, heavily guarded convoys carrying Abrams tanks, armored personnel carriers, engineering vehicles, and logistics support units have been observed crossing through Central Europe. The movement has been carried out with meticulous coordination among Allied forces, utilizing both road and rail infrastructure to ensure swift and secure delivery. Thousands of U.S. troops accompanying the hardware have begun setting up forward operating bases and preparing for integrated exercises with host nation forces. The U.S. Department of Defense emphasized that this deployment is strictly defensive in nature, intended to preserve peace and prevent miscalculation in a region fraught with uncertainty. Officials in Washington have repeatedly stressed that NATO remains a defensive alliance and that its actions are dictated by the evolving security landscape, particularly following Russia's continued military buildup near Ukraine and its increased naval and aerial activity in the Baltic and Black Seas. Defense analysts point out that this move is not merely a show of strength, but a calculated adjustment of posture aimed at reinforcing deterrence and ensuring that NATO forces can respond quickly and decisively to any potential threat. Unsurprisingly, Moscow has sharply criticized the deployment, calling it a provocation that will only heighten tensions and reduce the possibility for diplomatic resolution. Russian government officials have accused the United States and NATO of encroaching on its sphere of influence and engaging in a militarization of Europe that undermines regional security. In response, Russia has begun reinforcing its own military presence in the Kaliningrad exclave and along its western borders, reportedly moving additional missile systems, aircraft, and mechanized infantry units into the area. The Kremlin has warned that continued NATO reinforcement could lead to an escalation spiral that neither side may be able to fully control. On the other hand, NATO allies situated on the alliance's eastern edge have welcomed the deployment with a sense of relief and renewed confidence. Nations like Poland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, which have long voiced concern over Russian intentions, see the presence of U.S. main battle tanks on their soil as a concrete affirmation of collective defense commitments under Article 5 of the NATO Charter. Regional defense ministers have expressed strong support for continued U.S. involvement, and joint training exercises involving the Abrams tanks and local forces are already planned for the coming months. These drills are expected to improve interoperability and foster unity in countering shared security threats. Beyond the immediate tactical considerations, the deployment carries significant political weight. For the Biden administration, it represents a reaffirmation of the United States' leadership role within NATO and its willingness to invest in the security of the transatlantic alliance amid a period of global uncertainty. Amid debates in Washington over military spending and foreign commitments, the decision to send advanced combat systems to Eastern Europe demonstrates that American support for NATO remains resolute. It also serves as a strategic message to adversaries like Russia and China that any attempt to challenge U.S. allies will be met with a credible and capable military response. As developments continue to unfold in Eastern Europe, the world watches closely to see whether this latest show of force will stabilize the region or ignite a new round of tensions. The presence of Abrams tanks in countries bordering Russia significantly alters the security calculus and could influence future military planning on both sides. While the goal remains deterrence and defense, the risks of misinterpretation or unintended escalation remain real. In a complex environment where military moves can carry outsized political consequences, the coming months will be critical in determining whether peace can be preserved or if the region is drifting toward deeper confrontation.
Arms range now.